Boy.
Welcome back to Camera Therapy.
Camera therapy.
with Phil,
This
Will,
Here.
and
I'm here.
Sam. Sam's here. Hello. And we've got lots of people tuning in. I see people live watching. Let us know how you doing.
boy.
Where are you tuning in from? Hello, Will. Hello, Sam. How's it going?
It's good. How are you guys?
doing well. Just it's a beautiful day, beautiful fall day.
No microphone echo this time. I think we figured that out last time. So, ciao, very welcome. It's probably so late where you are. How late is
At
it?
least 11 p.m.
Yeah, that's dedication.
That's way past my bedtime.
Way.
If you are new to this Q&A, let us know in the comments. We'd love to know. There have been a lot of new people tuning into my frame by frame reviews weekly, which has been really fun. And so this is our Q&A session. So basically, we're going to be opening it up to any and all questions related to photography and beyond. But feel free to comment in the chat if you have questions already. We'd love to just dive right into it. But Sam, Will, what have you been up to? Anything photography related or not photography related that's interesting?
I wanted to start off with making sure that you guys went off to the side and got your favorite baseball team hat that's in the playoff. If you guys could go ahead and just do that for me, that'd be great.
Did I text you the picture of the Dodgers Ohtani jersey that my kids got me for Father's Day?
No, they got you an Ohtani jersey. Let's go. No longer an Angels fan.
Yeah. I was like, I will accept this because he was an Angel, and Ohtani is just so good.
Well, now you guys can both root for your California team, the Los Angeles Dodgers, in the playoffs.
I default to the West Coast, so it's just like
there we go.
I'm open about that.
Were you gonna root for the Yankees?
Yeah, no. Sam, I think Sam is not gonna root for the Dodgers.
Sam doesn't care.
No, not a sports person.
And no one else in the world cares about baseball, but I'm really excited. I've been watching baseball all the time.
Yeah, I didn't even know that it's playoff season.
Well, yeah, because the Giants aren't in it.
Yeah, that's why.
I mean, most Giants fans don't follow baseball.
Really?
Sam, what's up with you? Any interesting you're doing Stanford video projects?
Doing Stanford stuff. Yeah, that's been my main bread and butter, but also starting another project that is just slowly growing and kind of gonna probably bring a lot more photography into my life that I'm excited about. But trying to do some more personal projects and just connecting with people and doing long form interviews and doing some photography alongside it. So as it grows, I'll be sure to share it, but it's currently in its infancy, so still figuring it out. But yeah, it's kind of that I think with all the Stanford work, it's having a little bit of that work-life balance, but more of a work-creative life balance. So trying to have creativity for myself and not just doing it as a job. So
that is we'll dive into that maybe that idea a little bit deeper, because we had a question submitted to the community for this live stream about just that. Last week though, I went to Will's class that he taught, and I got to talk about video editing in front of some college kids, which was, I shouldn't even say kids, like half of them were probably older than me, but that was very fun. It was very cool to see Professor Will in his natural habitat teaching.
Yeah, they all laughed when he was like, Professor. Everyone thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, so that was really cool. And then we walked over to Sammy's camera afterwards, and I held the Nikon Z8 in my hands, and the guy said, "Oh, you should check out the Canon R5 too, because supposedly it has better bird autofocus," and that made my impending decision a little bit harder.
Worse.
And then
You should have seen Phil's face when he held both those cameras.
Yeah. I was
Should have taken a
like,
picture.
man, this is Nikon is so foreign to me. I've never shot on a Nikon. So, and the Canon felt very natural, but also, yeah. And then, as we kind of talked about last week in the chat, Very was trying to convince me to upgrade to the X-T5 before I do anything drastic like switching gear brands. So, I think I'm going to ultimately, we've talked about this, but I ultimately think I will rent the camera and lens that I'm interested in getting, even if it costs a little bit of money that I'd rather save for the camera itself. I think it just makes sense in the long run to do that. So, anyways, Will has a mustache. Oh man, Will is like always going through mustache phases.
I feel like I've had my mustache for a while at this point.
Yeah. Photo Dash season 2, you had a mustache.
Photo Dash season 1.
Well, definitely.
I think we should
season
all.
two.
We should when we shoot the next one. We should all have mustaches. I think that'd be so fun.
I think that sounds like a fun idea. That sounds like a really fun idea.
I'll get one of the paste on ones.
Sam, just start working on it now, and by the time we do it,
No one wants to do that. It's just not. It's not good.
Cool. Anything else before we dive into any questions or anything? No.
Photography related?
Yeah.
I'm going to help Sam shoot this weekend up at Stanford.
Nice.
But not photography, more video.
Yeah.
We're shooting on lots of video things.
Wait, but Will, what you said something about wanting a new camera?
I don't know.
This past week, I've had lots of fun conversations with Will about his next camera.
I was going down this path of like, is my current setup a little old? And then I guess I am. The first week of November, I'm going back to the Honeywell Ranch to do a cattle drive where I'll be wrangling and taking photos for the guests. And so the A7 that I had, the A7R5, had some sort of light leak. Although we sent it to Sony and they said they can't find the light leak. It had some sort of optical thing broken in the, I don't know. They fixed it. It was $300. But part of my time was that I shot a rodeo a couple weeks ago on the Leica, and I really enjoyed it. And the focus wasn't that bad. And so I've been thinking about upgrading my Leica, but at the same time, Sam has sent me this like YouTube video on how to like color like a Leica with your Sony camera, and like it's just more work and it looks okay, and I don't know. I think I'm just trying to find more inspiration from my Sony camera, which is fine. It's just I've just never enjoyed shooting with it, but I'm getting good stuff. So I guess I should be happy with what I can do and what I can afford.
Yeah.
You know.
Interesting. Well, I was seeing that. So you guys are shooting on the A7R4 or R5. What is it?
I'm shooting on the A7R5 most of my Western photography for the last like 6 months. Yeah.
Okay. I'm curious because I know when I was doing my research, there's the A7 V, which is coming out early next year, they're thinking. So that's going to be like, I don't know what the difference between those models is going to be, but the A7R5 has been around for a little while, so it seems like there might be some updates, might be like a camera worth looking into since you have all the glass. But
the R5 and the A1II are like the two, I would say, top of the line cameras. Like the A7 V is going to be more limited than the R5, so it's yeah, I don't know. I think for all of our purposes, it's like the A7R5 is a fantastic camera.
Yeah.
Like it's the only thing that like the Canon R5 and the Z8 and the A1 have is the stack sensors, which does enable that like millisecond fast autofocus. But
whatever.
Yeah.
When you're
Anyways.
doing Leica, you wait a whole second for that autofocus.
It's not
So
a whole second. Like I can still deal with it, but like being on horseback and taking photos of like fast moving animals and stuff, as you know, and birds, the focus on the Sony system has been stellar.
yeah.
And you can get to a place in the colors and the stuff that looks good. I really like the Leica glass, the way it looks. It was just a hard time for me to find this like marriage between like that sort of look that I like and the functionality of a fast lens. I just
Yeah.
don't think it exists.
Which is a really interesting thing within photography, because like in video, I would say there's a lot more emphasis on using different kinds of glass. Like people use different lens sets and all this stuff. But in photography, it's all about like, oh, I shoot Nikon cameras or Sony cameras or Canon cameras, and then you're just locked into this, mess of lenses. And
Mhm.
they all make great quality glass, but it's like there is, you lose something, I think, in quality with some of the other brands. But you also have a Sigma, Will, that you love that works really well on the Leica,
I am.
right?
I just got the Sony back today, and so I'm going to make sure everything was working and functionally, and then I might pull the trigger on the Sigma Sports one. What is it? 120 to 600, 4 to 6.3 or something like that, which I use
150 to 600.
with the 150 to 600. Phil's looking it up
560.
frantically right now. I can tell.
No, I'm answering a
Oh,
question in the chat.
yeah, I'm thinking about pulling a trigger on that lens, which is cool. 150 to 600 is pretty rad out in the open.
Wait,
and
what?
it'll be
What lens is that? The Sony or the Sigma? You said.
Sigma.
Okay, interesting.
150 to 600. Oh,
Yeah.
interesting for birds.
Well, it's the 180 to 600, which is like the standard, like above beginner level Nikon
Bird.
lens that came out like in the past few years. I mean, it's a $2,000 lens, so it's not cheap, but it's also like when you start going down the rabbit hole of like telephoto lenses for wildlife, like the pro
Yeah,
lenses are
and
like $5, $6, $10,000 for like.
and this one's like a sports long lens, like wildlife, obviously too. Like, and it's I think we found it used for like 1,300, so it's not like
Yeah.
terrible.
I guess
And the
here's
quality's good. I rented it to shoot I rented it to shoot the Luke Combs concert on
Mhm.
the Leica side of it, and it looked great.
Here's like my question, and Sam was just mentioning this before we started going live about he was noticing some bird photographers photographing up near him, and saying like 600 is like the minimum what you need, and that's kind of like how I feel, because I'm on my Fujifilm crop sensor with the 100 to 400 with a 1.5 adapter, which is almost a 600. So it's like the equivalent of a 600 on a full frame camera.
It has to be
And
more.
it's not enough.
It's
Look at all that.
okay, no, it's not the equivalent. It's so the 1.5 converter turns it to it's like a 580 on my camera. So 580 on my crop sensor. So my question is, and no, it's not enough all the time. I mean, and obviously I'm newish to this whole birding thing, but there are so many times where there's like birds that are very far away that I'm trying to take photos of. And so my question is, okay, so let's just say 600 on my Fuji X-T4 versus the 600 on the Z8. What's the difference gonna be? It's the 600 on the Z8 is gonna actually be wider, right? But you can crop in a little bit and have higher like
Megapixel.
quality.
Yes.
So basically, if the Z8 had a crop mode, which maybe it does, it's probably going to push it to like, I don't know, the 600 millimeter to like
it'll be the same
800 or something like that.
It'll be the same thing because you'll be back down to the resolution that the XT whatever would be at that focal length.
Yeah, which is, I guess my question is like, will I see a dramatic, like everything else aside, like the autofocus improvements and all that, will I see a significant increase in like the actual quality of the image?
I think so.
Yeah.
but that's because of the sensor. And in addition, because it's a full frame, just the way the pixels are laid out, it's going to be tighter and sharper, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
Hard to tell without you actually getting your hands on it, but mathematically, yeah, it should
Right.
be a little sharper, right? And
Yeah.
you may not need to be cropping in all the time. Like that's the other thing. It's like,
Yeah. Yeah. I guess, and I wonder if I really needed it, like if I got that lens, I could probably get whatever the teleconverter for the Nikon is, and that would push that lens even more. But
yeah, and you need to see farther.
anyways, let's get to some questions from
The drunk wedding photographer. What a great handle.
that
That's
so funny.
amazing.
Mushy,
mushy.
We got a couple
mushy?
questions. One quick one. I'm gonna comment, but if you guys have thoughts on brands, Code for Kids said just got a Nikon Z30. Any advice for a good flash? I was just gonna comment the cheap flash that I got from Amazon. It's the newer. I think for me, the flat for what I do, which I've used it for portraits. I've done like some like class portraits for like my kids' classes and stuff like that. It's more about like getting the umbrella and the filter for the reflector that makes a nice look for that photography for me. I don't think like necessarily a much fancier flash would make that much of a difference, but what do you guys have any brands or models or thoughts about that?
I think on the brand on the cheaper side, the Godex ones are worth their money, worth their weight in gold.
Godex.
I think that they're plenty enough for most things for what the price is. Or you spend more on the brand of camera you have. Like I'm still using a hand-me-down Canon flash on my Leica camera from like 10 years ago, and it's fine. Like it just depends on what you're doing. But my studio setup, I do have a wireless Godex setup that was only like a couple $100, and it's like perfectly fine. Again, it's more about the quality of light that you're creating through diffusion or through where you're pointing it than it is like the brand and what it's capable of doing, I think.
Yeah, agreed. Another question, Maria asks, had someone come up to me asking about teaching them photography, pitched $40 an hour for one-on-one sessions. Was that way off base?
I don't know. It depends on where you're at.
Yeah, it depends on where, around the world, who it was. I feel like that seemed like low for me to think about doing that. But for someone like it's your first time, I think that's pretty fair potentially. And I guess it depends on like where are you like looking for this to be potentially your side income or full-time income type thing. Obviously it sounds like probably not. This is like the first time this asked, but in New York City, that seems pretty low, but I don't know, it's up to you. Is like $80 for 2 hours of work worth it to you? Maybe it's a good intro, good like first just to test the waters, see how you feel about it. But I think you could probably bump that up pretty fast.
I charge, and I just did this yesterday. I had a client and I charged $150 an hour. But as far as I'm concerned, like I don't really want to be doing one-on-one sessions all the time. So I bump it up higher. So if they want to say yes, they say yes. That's one thing. But I think 50 is a good place to start if you've never done it before and you're just getting into it. Also, I like what you did too. It's like, and we do this with other clients, is like, this is how much it costs. This is how much I would charge. But if that's way out of price range for you, maybe we can talk about coming to a happy medium. I think $30 is, like you said, no, a little too low. Especially if you've got to think about all the money you've invested in your education, in your practice, in your failed photos, and your time spent doing photography. All that is what they're paying for. And $30 is an insult.
Yeah. Cool. That was good. Arpon asks, we'll be buying the Canon R6 Mark II for sports. Is it good for videography too? I'd say absolutely. That's a very nice mirrorless camera now. So absolutely. I know a lot of people, YouTubers, who use that camera. So I think,
I know some wedding photographers that use the R5 and R6, and it's a fantastic still camera.
So that's a quick yes.
It's a quick yes. I mean, anytime, I think any of the, like, is that a flagship camera for Canon? I feel like it's like one of their top mirrorless cameras, right?
It's like the R5, and then that's like kind of the
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean,
bit lower.
I think at this point, any of those cameras are going to be pretty solid for like videography. I think that being said, just like photography, you still have to like know what you're doing as far as like lighting and like steadiness and settings and all that stuff. So yeah.
Great question from Nancy about if we would consider doing more interviews with students. She thought it was very cool to see how the students went to running their own photography business. I love that idea. Maybe we should, since we have this kind of set up on like every other Wednesday schedule, could be something that we try to pop in and get some students in here who would like to chat. So if you have a story, an interesting story, or you just want to share some ideas, if you've gone from beginner to making any kind of side money, and I mean Nicholas was like very successful going from student to like full-time wedding photographer, but you don't have to be like that successful. I think even if it's just doing a little bit of business, or you found a little niche that you're in, it could be fun. So reach out to us. I would love to do that. I think that'd be very cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let's see. What is a good website to sell a Nikon F100 film camera I've had for 30 years and no longer use? From
It's
AI.
sam@willcall.media.com. Sam will buy your F100.
Yeah. KEH is probably the place I'd recommend, but nowadays I think B&H, Adorama also will buy used gear. But also, if I don't know how much money you'll get for F100, could also find someone that maybe is getting interested in photography, doing something on like Facebook Marketplace or something like that.
Yeah, I would say that might be the better route. I mean, I'm just looking at like pre-owned F100s. I mean, you could get a used one for like $50 to $100 on eBay. So I'm not sure if it'll be like, I don't imagine like KEH would give you like a pretty good price for that. But I don't know.
They're selling one for $500 on KEH.
So they'd probably buy it for like 400.
Probably buy it for like 300. Yeah,
depending on what the condition is. Oh, look, Birdwill is here.
Hey, Birdwill, got the birds. All right, cool. Yeah, check out KEH. I think probably like Facebook Marketplace, or like what's not Upcycle? What's that other one that's like where you sell stuff? I don't know. I'll think about it, but you might get a better price for that. We had a couple questions in the community, so this is a great time to just pitch being a part of Photography and Friends. It's free. You probably all know that watching this, but if you're new, if you're watching the replay, if you can't make these live, we have all of our live sessions scheduled out here. And so you'll see it all scheduled out. You could RSVP to them. And then for any upcoming Q&A session, if you want us to answer any questions, post it in the comments down below. And you'll also notice like there's like Thanksgiving holiday, Christmas holiday coming up that we're going to be missing the second Wednesdays of the month chat Q&A after October, so pay attention to that. But yes, so here we have a couple great questions. And man, the community has been super engaged lately, like lots and lots of people posting. So I'm glad to see people just really taking advantage of it and posting questions, posting photos. I guess I'll do a quick PSA just because we have a couple people helping out with moderating. Some of you photo friends are now helping me to moderate. The biggest thing that we run into is like people posting in spaces with that where it might be better to post somewhere else. So if you have like a photo where you want feedback, if you want critique, post it in the photo critique space, but make sure that you post more information about what you're looking for in a critique. Like, what are you trying to do, rather than just like, if you're just posting a photo, no one knows. Okay, are you looking for a critique? Are you just posting to share? Maybe that would be better to share in the gallery, which is basically like a cool like Instagram feed of photos, but just like all of our photo friends, and it's super cool. And same with like, if you're saying hi for the first time, post it there. But if you're posting a photo, probably not the best spot to post it here. If you have something that just doesn't fit anywhere, general chat, that's the place to put it. And this is also where you can find the weekly challenges, which this week is sunset photography.
Nice.
And last week was still life photography. I'll be reviewing that in tomorrow's frame by frame reviews. But anyways, yeah, so let's get to the questions that were posted here. Nope, this is frame by frame. That's for tomorrow. We had a question from Cesar, who asks, any suggestions on capturing dancing / for example, hip hop dance battles? I only have a 50mm prime lens on the Canon 600D.
For hip hop dance battles, if you're able to, I mean, with the 50mm, like, I'm assuming they serve a circle and there's two or like groups battling. If you can get a spot and sit like right on the edge, that'd be probably the best bet. And just kind of like post up in one spot, maybe shuffle a little left, shuffle a little right. But if you're in the crowd or something like that, it's just gonna be, you can get some unique angles and some wider shots, but you're not going to really be able to capture the action necessarily. But also with a 50mm, that might be tough if you're right up in there and don't have enough space from the subjects. But
I'm imagining like a 50 on a crop sensor is going to be pretty tight. So I mean, I guess if the question is how to do that with the 50mm, that's a different question. But my first thought is like, I imagined photos of break dancers, like super wide angle lens, like you right up there close to the person where you could see the entire person's body plus the background of like people watching. So investing in like a wider angle lens might be necessary for what you're wanting to get.
Stepping back with the 85 and I'd probably not shoot at like f1.4. I don't know how light this is, but like, stopping down to like f2.8, f4, like they're moving fast, all this stuff, and like you probably want more in focus. And just finding unique angles, shooting between people or just trying to like step back to get their full body. But it's fully doable. It's definitely more of a challenge, but I think you can probably get some really cool shots with a 50mm. And with dancing too, like getting lower and looking up, I think is always a good thing. Like sort of add a little bit of like grandness to the dancers.
But absolutely. All right, cool. Let's get back to here. So next question is from Very, and the question is about client work, something that we were kind of just talking about. But first, I want to show you this picture of this bird that
But first, here's a bird.
Do you guys know what type of bird this is? Isn't it so cute?
It looks like a red-breasted snafu.
It's a juvenile of some kind.
Yeah, it's a juvenile white-haired shaker.
That is so close, Will. But and that's what I thought too. It's probably semi-juvenile. I thought it was like just like a baby hawk or something like that.
No baby hawk.
Because there was like a bunch of like hawks flying around where I was, but it's an American kestrel, which is the smallest falcon, the smallest. Yeah, well, you were close, but just like slightly off. But the smallest falcon in the United States, and it's predatory bird. But isn't it so cute?
You're saying there's like a bunch of hawks around and it survived?
Well, I think it was just like it was chilling on this telephone pole, and I was like learning from the Hawks. I was like watching them, and I was like, okay, so that's how you do it.
So what was the if you click that little eye thing up there, will it tell us what it is too?
I don't know what this
Or will
I.
it tell us all the metadata? Yeah. What's
Oh,
your metadata?
this is let's see. This isn't gonna show you,
What's
but
your ISO? What
okay, hold
shutter did
on.
you
Let me show
use?
you. Yeah,
I
yeah.
want to know
Finder.
all the things.
Okay, you can see this now. Okay, that's kind of hard for you to see, but that was the Fuji 560 millimeter focal length, f10, 1/550th of a second shutter. I don't know what my ISO was. It's probably yeah, but this is cropped in quite a bit from the original photo. Even on my, this is my 100/400 on the teleconverter and cropped in on my crop sensor camera. So when I'm talking about like 600 millimeters might not be enough for on a full frame
That doesn't-
camera.
But the sharpness doesn't look too bad. I think you're gonna do so well when you have like a proper full frame camera.
Okay, let me zoom in for this because it's you say that, but like
It
this
falls apart
was
pretty
like yeah, the details are not there.
I
It's
see.
like, could you print it?
You could print it
well, I
side by
could put it
side.
on like a canvas and it would probably look fine. Anyways, I just thought that was a cute bird. So okay, sorry.
You're such a
Very-
birder.
this is the topic of the day. Okay. Couple questions.
cute.
First, when you have a lot of client work to do you ever feel a drop in your creativity since you
Yes.
have to
Yeah.
stick to what the
Absolutely.
client wants and you have not much freedom to create? Or is the client that has to stick to your style? Or is it the client that has to stick to your style and you have more freedom? I think we can talk about that. Probably depends on the project. But also, I think a more important question is, or not more important, but okay, still related, blah, blah, blah. Being photography your main source of income, have you ever felt the pressure of paying bills with your art if that decreased your love for photography? So basically, making it your job, has that ever felt like it's not you're not as passionate about it anymore? Yes and yes.
heavy.
I mean,
I feel
okay, you guys go first.
I feel like Sam should go first on the working for a client and not feeling personally creative. Sam, take it away.
Okay. I think at some point someone told me, or it's a known thing, but it's like to make your passion the thing that you make money from, is gonna taint the thing that you love doing. Like, it's making about economics, making about making a living. I mean, you might love baking. Does that mean you should be a baker? Or will you hate baking because after, the 20th day of waking up at 4 a.m., you're just not going to have the same thing come alive in you as you do it. And I think it's a very real thing to lose a little steam when it's constantly creating for other people. And I've done a lot of work on separating my ego from my client work. Like, at this point in my career, people come to me for, I think, the type of work I do. But when they start saying like, oh, well, we need to include this or this or this, okay, you're paying me, I'll do that. Like, I'm not at the level of being an artist where I'm like, no, that's idiotic, I would never do that. Like, we can't do that. I'm not at that point in being a egotistical creative, but also know that, some people do, like, they are sought after for their thing that they do, and they have probably contracts and more say in what they can push back on. And I think that's to each their own. But I think why I'm starting this other project right now, I'm going through this whole thing of like, I want to do things that excite me, that maybe could turn into something that does make money at some point, but is ultimately telling stories that excite me and that bring me joy and happiness. And I balance that with a lot of work that just pays the bills, and that, I still enjoy the process. I get paid to make videos. Like, that's awesome. I don't want to downplay that in any way, but I think for each person it's different finding that balance of the two. And it's honestly why I don't do photography as a paid work. I love photography and it's my thing. I don't really ever work for people, and that's, I guess, why I'm doing a lot more video these days and not so much photography. But yeah, I think everyone has to find sort of their own balance of how it is. But also, can you step back and find creativity in the client stuff and still have fun with it? Can it still push you in some way? Can you talk a client into allowing you to do something that you've started to play with and you want to experiment with? And sure, you still get 50 headshots of the employees, but you also do one where everyone's floating in space on a giant raft or something. I don't know, like you get to try something fun. Like, can you
I'd like to
balance
see
it?
that photo, Sam.
I'll get right on it. Yeah. How about you, Will? You're the only one that like works, I feel like, regularly as a professional photographer, like a paid photographer.
Well, if you guys notice, like what I do professionally, photography wise, generally, I'd say 80 to 90% of the time, it's like weddings, it's families, it's portraits, it's now people on horseback having a good time. And I think that for me, photography specifically, in talking about like career and making money off it, I have a very, very hard time doing commercial photography and feeling excited and creative about it. And I don't do it that often because there are clients that are very particular and they want a specific thing. For example, Sam's referencing this thing I did. I think it was 90 headshots for a company in one day, and they just rolled through the employees, and I hated it. It was like so terrible. I didn't want to touch my camera for like days after that. It was not fun. That being said, the other side of stuff, the weddings, the family portraits, and now just taking photos of people on a ranch, like having fun, like if there's a payoff where people are really enjoying my art and like it means a lot to them, it keeps me juiced a little bit more, if that makes any sense. And that feeds my creativity a lot more. Like when I get an email from a wedding couple, like the next day after I've sent them like 6 photos, and they're telling me like, oh, my dad was crying when he saw the photo of him walking down the aisle with me, that is worth every penny to me to get paid to do. And there are always going to be bad parts of it, right? I'm always going to have to do an invoice. I'm always going to have to ask to get paid. I'm always going to have to do the reconciling and accounting on the business end. Like all that stuff is going to come, but is it worth it to you for the other side of it? And for me, it's worth it when I'm doing stuff that matters to people. When people show me their phones from the previous year that was at the ranch, and they're like, this has been my backdrop on my phone. I look at it every day and it makes me smile. I'm like, yeah, dope. Like that is exciting. So if you can find a reason to do the job that you're doing and it gets you that way, it's not always going to be 100% the best fun thing ever. Like it's just you just have to find a balance of that. Another example of that, I don't know if you guys remember last year, but we have some friends that shoot commercials, and they asked me to come shoot portraits of Jessica Simpson, who they were doing a commercial for at the same time. And I went and I shot portraits of her like off set while they were waiting and resetting it. And there was like, I don't know, 10 people that had an opinion on where the shadows were coming from. And that killed me. I was like, okay. And you have to put on that face. And I'm like, okay, I'll choose a light around and we'll adjust and we'll change. And I have a cable going to 3 monitors and they're looking at my photos. I'm like, I'm happy with this creatively, but like that's not the point. The point is accomplishing the job that they had put in front of you, like Sam was saying, and you are being paid to do that. So there's just a balance that I think you have to find with all art, right? And it comes in waves and ebbs and flows, and where you find the good is where you have to like live if you're going to do it as a living, for sure.
Yeah, and to balance that with I don't know, if you can get a client that routinely is coming to you and asking you to do something that like you basically can do with your eyes closed. I mean, there's a period of time where Will was getting sent like a box of stuff and he was doing product photography, and it's just kind of like he'd spend so many hours doing it, but like it was decent pay. It was a pretty low lift, and like, is it like soul crushing? No. Is it soul lifting? No, but it makes some money. And at the end of the day, we're talking about like working as a professional within this now.
But even thinking that, like every commercial product thing that I've ever thought about taking photos of, I do not like and enjoy, and I don't want to do it. but I've been shooting weddings since I was 19. So it's like,
I think well, that's the point to take home is like Will has the passion for the wedding photography or like the photographing of people that makes money, but it also feeds him creatively, which I think for me is like is totally different. I mean, I can totally relate to this question with video production because I'm at a point where that was my background. That's what I went to school for. That was what I loved. I wanted to make documentary videos and films. And now I think about making videos and I cannot even like think about getting inspired to get up and be like, I want to go make a video today. I want to make a creative YouTube video today. Like that is not, I can't, or like go out and work like with other people making a documentary or not even a documentary, like let alone like some sort of commercial like type promotional video, which is what I mostly made money doing, or getting a full like a job as an editor. I can't. I burnt myself out on that side of it, and so I think it's like a very tricky balance of like trying to make money with what you're passionate about, but knowing that there's going to be a difference once you're doing it for money. But I think also with photography specifically, I don't know if most people love doing like, where's the money right now? The money is still with like family portraits, headshots, maybe portraits, weddings, events. Like most people aren't making money doing other styles of photography, landscape, street, abstract. Like no one's making good money on that in the beginning, especially. And so some people choose to have the ability to have a living, do that type of photography and put it in a box and say, okay, I'm not passionate about this, but I'm going to do it so that I can make money with something I enjoy more than sitting at a desk job and doing something else. So I think that's like the question is it better than what you're currently doing? For most people who are getting into photography, it probably is. But I actually have a lot of people who ask me to do photography paid work, like headshots or family photos. I get so stressed out when I do that. The day of, I have fun. Will knows this. We did the preschool family photos the other year. Was that a couple years ago? And we did like family photos. And did we just donate all that money? Did I pay you? I paid you a little bit. Yeah, I paid you. But it was like pretty low. No?
I don't remember.
Did I not? Okay.
I'm just kidding.
But anyways, like the day of, I had fun. But like for weeks leading up to that, I'm like stressed out about it. And I realized it's just, I don't want to do photography paid work. It just stresses me out too much.
You were stressed out about that? That was so fun.
Yeah, for you. It was fun the day of, but
yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, and that's part of it though, right? Is like doing the stuff for low pay initially, for, you know, getting exposure, for all that. Like however you want to swing it, you have to practice in your photography and whatever kind you're doing, if it's portraiture, if it's product, if it's lifestyle, like you have to be out there doing the thing. And like very specifically, like you've committed to getting into the street and like trying new things as an artist and like pushing yourself and like also sharing, you know, the stuff from the Krav Maga class. And I think like you have to be doing all that pretty routinely so that when you walk onto a set or you're having to deliver something, it's like, oh yeah, like I do this every day. I'm thinking about this constantly. I'm like,
yeah,
with all this video work, I know exactly what's in my kit. I know exactly how it's set up. I'm so fluid with it at this point. I, you know, have thought enough about setting up interviews and lighting and all this stuff. But if you don't do it routinely, it's a lot more stressful, and it's a lot more difficult if you're like, oh, well, I love doing landscape photography, but oh, sure, I'll take this product photography gig. I shot some products the other day and they're not good. They're not good.
I didn't know that. Let's see them. Send them over.
Yeah. Okay, sure.
Let's screenshot your Lightroom.
And it's, you know, don't practice at it. So it's, you know, it's a good thing to also keep that in mind and be a little humble, I think, at first, of like, take jobs to take jobs, see where it leads you. Connections, like Will has a whole thing of giving it a year, like some random job today, that person will think of you at some point, and in a year's time it can end up being a big client, or it can be like, oh, I enjoyed working with that person and I want to work with them again. And that's like, I don't want to downplay like that, if you keep working at this, you're gonna get jaded and bored of it, but it definitely is a balance of the two worlds. But if you can get paid to do the type of photography you're good at and you enjoy doing, like that's the dream, right?
Yeah.
So
I think for like very specifically who asked this question, we know her. She does like street photography. In her question, she talks about being curious about doing weddings or creative portraits. I could see how creative portraits would be right up your alley. Maybe weddings could be there too. But I could also see how that could be hard. But I think you said the important thing, Sam, about like getting to a point where you're confident and comfortable going into a shoot makes a huge difference. And that's just going to take time. And that's like, for me, shooting a wedding, when I did wedding videography, I never got to that point where I was like totally confident. And that's how I felt. That's how I feel with like
You're
doing
so
family portraits now. It's like, I just don't have the confidence, even though like I know I can do it. But like, Will, you just walk into a wedding probably and you feel like you've done this 100 times. And it's like, you have the gear that's going to do the job. So
that's the 10,000 hours though thing, right? Like, and you do something that often and that much, and you practice that much, you will go over a hump that allows you to like just exist in that space and have the flow or whatever. Like Sam goes, I'll go to a wedding, and people ask me this all the time, like, aren't you nervous about shooting a wedding? And I'm like, yeah, not so much anymore. But the first few weddings that I shot, I was terrified, like beyond doubt, so nervous and just sweating like the whole time. But now, like, I've done it so many times that I sleep so well the night before a wedding, I am terrified of not waking up. Like, I need to set like 4 alarms so I'm there on time. Like, it's not a problem, but only because you put the reps in, and then you decide like, this is what I'm doing and this is why I enjoy it, and you get there. But it takes work, right? And consistency, if that's something you want to do.
And the thing that I mean, just seeing some people's comments, like the other side to all this is running a company and getting, I mean, I was reconciling my books and going through the last 6 months worth of bookkeeping for my business and for the business that Will and I share the last 2 days. And like, running a business is not photography. Running a business
it's
not like, and doing it well and marketing yourself. And, that has nothing to do with the craft. And you have to have a little bit of willingness to dive in and do that stuff. Like, there's definitely an entrepreneurial spirit to this. And I have a friend that works for a real estate company, and he's told like, go take photos of these houses, and like, and it's a job, and he doesn't have to worry about this. So you can do that too. But, another side of this is being realistic about like, how much do you want to do that? Like, I remember my parents at some point were like, well, Sam, do you want to be a business owner or like a filmmaker? Like, I don't really want to be a business owner. I don't feel like that's really what I want to do, but it enables something else. So I do it. So
it's a good thing your business partner understands where you're coming from.
This guy?
Yeah, that guy. Oh wait, no, that guy.
I'm over here. Thanks. Hi, my name's Will.
No, I think it's a really good talk. Before we go, we can keep talking about this, but if you have any questions, now's the time to post them in the comments in the chat so that we get to it. We're going to be wrapping up here pretty quickly. So,
like, are the Blue Jays going to beat the Yankees? I think Bird Will is a Blue Jays fan down there. Of course he's a Blue Jays fan.
Blue Jays have been crushing it. They've been scoring.
I'm rooting for them. Let's go.
And right now, let's see. Spoiler alert. Let's see what the score is. The Mariners. Oh my God, the Tigers came back. Dang.
See, we know Phil's a big baseball fan. We have to remember.
Man, I'm recording that game. Why you got?
No, please. I don't even know it was baseball playoff season.
Cool. Well, so we'll be back in a couple weeks, I think, for another Q&A. I love the idea of getting students in here to chat with who have started doing photography professionally or on the side, or just have any sort of fun projects going on. So if you're interested in that, post a comment in this video or send me a direct message on the Photo Friends community. That's probably like the best way to like get in contact with me now. But yeah, lots of cool stuff over here in Photo Friends. So share your work, post your photos. This is where you can ask your questions.
Was that Chucky behind Ernie?
Yeah, Abhishek posts a lot of these figurine photos. So yeah. Yeah, so post it here. Anything else, guys, before we wrap up?
No. Should we all take a photo before the next one and share our favorite bird photo or something?
Yeah. Yes. You guys go take your best bird photos.
When is that due? You see my best bird photo. I sent it to you like a couple weeks ago.
Oh yeah, that was a pretty sick photo. What was that? It was like a hawk or an eagle or something like that.
I think it was a hawk.
Yeah, I don't think it was an eagle.
In the Eastern Sierras. I do have a shot of an eagle in a tree.
That's cool.
It was above my horse.
Well, I'm up to like 41 bird species that I've taken photos.
How many do you have to go?
Well,
gotta catch them all.
There's like 10,000, so
yeah,
it's gonna be a while.
How many are in Southern California?
Well, all of those right now are. I think. Well, yeah, that's a good question. But like in my area, you can see on the eBird app, you can see like hot spots, and so like the Botanical Gardens by me, it has all-time 185 species. So that's not like that many. I'm at like 40, actually I'm at 43.
You're almost there, Phil.
Yeah.
I want to go. Can I come with you on a bird?
Can the next photo dash be all of us just get massive super telephoto lenses and
just we gotta talk about Photo Dash.
Has everyone here watched Photo Dash?
Does anyone?
By the way, we showed Photo Dash to my video production and editing class, and they all wanted to watch the whole thing. But Phil showed them his editing sequence in Premiere, and it's just wild.
Oh, yeah,
it's so cool.
Scare them all off
to see. Yeah, and it's really funny the like color coding that we came up with the like I'm blue for Dodgers and you're orange for the Giants and Phil's red for the Angels. Pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bird video next. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I can go with you, Phil, somewhere, and I'll video you birding.
Yeah, that sounds good.
And when you rent your camera,
let's see.
And we can do that.
There I am looking at birds.
Is Isabel just like, there he is?
Isabel likes doing it too, because she gets to
go outside.
Just go outside. We go for walks. This is yesterday. This is where I found that little bird, the American kestrel. Yep. Except LA County parks are closed on like Mondays and Tuesdays due to like funding. So I was supposed to go in the park and get some water birds, like ducks. But I couldn't. But yeah, we should go do that. We also need to plan Photo Dash season 3. We got to plan course updates, and that's what we're doing after we hang up. So we will do that. All right, guys. It's been real. Everyone watching, thanks for watching. Hope you had fun. Come with questions next time. We'll be back in a couple weeks, and I'll be back tomorrow for Frame by Frame. All right.
Frame by Frame.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Yeah.
See ya.